when I got to California, I still go through a lot of mental anguish and stress, and a lot of, you know, I have memories of myself having my motorhome here in California, and then have one of these Hispanic police officers that work for Riverside Police Department just take everything I worked so hard for. And that's not fair that this man that attacked me gets away and have his freedom, and I had to sit in county for 2 months. That's something it makes me really angry about that, because my RV was everything I had. All my stuff was in that truck, and then one of these hateful, jealous police officers just comes and did a terrible job at investigation. In fact, he wanted that investigation to be where I take responsibility for his people. And that's what I don't like about these Hispanic police officers here in Los Angeles, is that they choose sides, and they know that they have to do their job by following proper procedures. You got computers and stuff and radios that tell you who you talking to, but the police officer, he wants to be homeboys with the guy that attacked me, and then he says on the side to him on the camera and tells him that he know he's the aggressor, and then he says, "I'm not gonna take you to jail tonight." Like, you make him pass with him, like you give him a pass of what he did, but you want to take me to jail, the black man, the one that don't have no record. When I talked to the public defender, he told me I have 10 pages right here and it's all blank. And he said, "You don't have no criminal record?" I said, "No, I never been in trouble in my life. So why am I here? Why am I in county jail for 2 months?" And then it took 4 months of me being in probation to get the charges dismissed. All these things that happened to me supposed to go to this other man, and then what's frustrating is I go through so much angry, because I know that I work for stuff. I don't have to take anything from nobody. But for some of these people that see a person in an RV, they think you homeless, and then they make assumptions, and then not even that. You don't even have you never been in trouble with law. You never been in trouble with the system. And that's how these cops here in California act. They don't like black men. They don't like to see a black man have anything. They just jealous and hateful. Just the same as that man that attacked me. Like, you're supposed to go and say, "Hey, why are you by this man's truck?" Very easy questions to ask, but he didn't want to ask. He just want to assume that I'm over here trying to beat this man to death. I don't even know him. I don't have the motivation to do that. First of all, if I told you that I'm getting food for myself and I'm going back to my vehicle, that should tell you already that I'm not trying to start no trouble with nobody. I just want to get in my truck and eat. But he don't want to look at me as a victim. You want to look at me as a suspect. Why you don't look at him as a suspect? And then he lied. He did more lying than the dude that assaulted me. He didn't even lie. Only thing he didn't take ownership was the weapon he had, which was a baseball bat. But the police officer, he lied, talking about the baseball bat belonged to me and all these other weapons. Yeah, the other weapons belong to me, but that baseball bat don't belong to me. That belongs to him. And however you want to spin it, you can't change the truth. The truth doesn't change. A lie does. That's one thing. A person gonna lie, and then they're gonna try to get themselves out of another lie. But when you tell the truth, you can't change it. There's no way around it. How are you gonna let him get a pass on putting his hand on me? He cracked my skull in the back of my head with a bat, and you gonna let him go, as if you didn't see that. And I told the officer what he did. But the other guy, he didn't have a story. But the police officer, it seemed like he liked to make a narrative to where I'm over here hurting this man and trying to take his life away. I'm like, I don't even know him. I don't have the mustard to do that. I mean, why would I want to attack a Hispanic person? I mean, I don't even know him. I have never put my hand on nobody outside my race, So why would I want to fight this Hispanic guy for? I mean, you have to have a reason why would I want to do that. But you didn't have none of that. There was no motive. I don't know you. And then on top of that, the cop knew that I'm out of state. I gave him my Texas ID. So that should tell you already that I'm not from around here. Why are you even taking sides with somebody that has been arrested, got his mug shot, and been booked here in California? This person I'm talking about, his name is Devin Hussey. He worked for Riverside Police Department. And then not even that, him and his friends that worked there, they knew all along that I was innocent. But they still booked me into that dungeon and had me lose all my stuff. I had to go through torture, 2 months of county jail. And I miss my RV. I really do. I miss it so much because it was my home. And then I had a job. and I was working. So that night I got off of work, and then all of a sudden things fell apart. Like, this man was haunting me. It haunts me so much because, it's like, that's the only memory I had was my truck, and I was happy. Why is that somebody that's so hateful and jealous of a black man having stuff that he has to take it away from me? He don't want somebody to come take stuff away from him. I mean, you're a police officer, you get a salary, you make a lot of money, and you want to hurt somebody, especially a black person that out here minding his business, getting off of work, and then trying to spend his weekend, enjoy his weekend, because that was my last day of the week, and I was gonna start my weekend, but my weekend started going to county jail and eating peanut butter jelly sandwich. This is what happened to a lot of these black people here in Los Angeles. That's why you see so many homeless black people out here, and I was one of those people. But I'm very strong, and I don't let things like this, take over my life. I don't want to live on the streets. I mean, I got something to live for. I mean, I got family and loved ones that care about me. But it's like they don't see that as that like that. They see people like me as a threat to the community. The police department here in Los Angeles is predominantly Hispanic people. So, and it's not too far from California. California's not too far from Mexico. So, I mean, they gonna like that. I always been told that Hispanic people are always going to stick up for one another. So even this police officer, he's willing to risk his career and lie to put me in jail, and not just stick to what he saw and the facts. The other man he talked to didn't even have a statement, and then he talking to him like, well, when you get in the ambulance, I'm gonna talk to you some more. Like, what's there to talk about? You're supposed to talk to him right there, and then he didn't give you nothing. You better be hard up on him and say, well, if you ain't got no story to tell, then I have to take you to jail. But you're supposed to take him to jail regardless, because he's on probation. And when you're on probation, you're not supposed to be out committing another crime. And I hate this motherfucker. I hate this cop. I'm sorry about my language, but it just makes me mad just to see that. Like, why would you do that to me? I never even come across people like this, until this happened to me, and I don't want the next black person to go through this. I want to share what happened to me, so another black person don't have to go through the same experience I had moving to Los Angeles and then have all your stuff stolen and then being taken into one of these jails here. I had to live in there with gang members and stuff, and I had to learn how to use the toilet right, and then I had to stay in a cell with another man for days and stuff. It's just frustrating and angry. That's why people don't want to they don't want to go and live in no house, because they get institutionalized in jail, will make you want to live outside. Nobody don't want to be stuck in the building all the time, and it messes with your mental. And every day I try to remind myself that if I don't keep working, I'm gonna be out on the streets again, and I don't want to live out on the streets. I hate that lifestyle. It's hard for me. I had to go to like Starbucks to go give me some internet so I can do things and all that type of stuff. But then you only could do that for so long before you realize Starbucks ain't it. This ain't a hangout spot. I need to get some money and get me a car, and then find housing. But that's what happened to me here in Los Angeles. A lot of people don't think that. A lot of these Caucasians and Asian people get on YouTube and talk about, oh, I had a great experience when I moved to California. Well, not for a few. I had watched one video of a female. She said that she had purchased a home out there in the Palisade, and that before she can move into her place, the Palisade had started that fire, and then now she just lost her home. But luckily she didn't move away from her previous home in Arizona, so that changed her plans. Everything here is just a joke. I mean, look at this. Everything around here dirty. Feces, poop, everything. Homelessness, I just see it here. It's just not a place for anybody, Maybe for the Hispanic people, but for people like me, a black person, we're at a disadvantage here. So I already have a hard time finding employment and a good job without, being discriminated here. And I always try to, keep my head up and stay away from people. I don't want to go back to that same position where I'm out on the streets trying to figure out what I'm gonna do with myself, And I don't like the fact that my RV is gone. It's been 2 years though, but 1 year I had to spend outside in the streets trying to, survive. 'Cause I don't have no family, no friends out here in Los Angeles. I had to find things out for myself, see what programs or see what assistance I can get, which was hard to get, and I still didn't get no assistance. So everything I done, I had to get it for myself, starting all over. And I hate the fact that this cop did this to my life and my situation, put me in a situation of losing my job, losing my RV. Everything I had in there was my DD-214, my Social Security, my birth certificate, my high school diploma, high school transcripts, my military certificates. All those things are gone because of this Mexican police officer, and his friends hate black people. He don't know what it's like to lose because he don't care. He's a cop. He don't care about black people. But he put me in that situation, and I don't care about him because, he's gonna, if he don't say nothing about it, he's gonna keep doing that over and over again, hurting families and stuff, especially my people. And he gets to go home with his family and loved ones and talk to his kids and kiss them and stuff while I'm in jail looking at a wall, crying and in misery and suffering. I don't like that. That's not right. But to him, he's smiling and kicking it back with his homeboys like nothing happened, like they bad. That's why when people talk about, a police officer, he got shot and on line of duty, you know what that makes me feel? It makes me smile. I know it sounds bad, but it makes me feel better about it because, I don't care if what that police officer, a good or a bad police officer. I don't care if a police officer said he has a good a record and he has awards and stuff. Some of these cops are just bad, And then on top of that, let's say, for example, internal affairs, they was worser. I contact them to make a complaint, and then guess what they tell me? Oh, it's just a scratch. And I'm like, what? Are you serious? So you tell me that you think that a person walk up behind you, hit you with a bat, it's a scratch? That's not a scratch. And not even that. The dude put a knot in the back of my head, and he made my ear swelling. So do you tell me that he has a right to put his hands on me? And plus, he was a felon. So he's not supposed to be out here hurting people. But he get a chance again. I mean, come on. Let's say the role reversed, and let's say I'm the one out here hurting people. You will definitely put me in jail, knowing that if I was guilty. And since I wasn't guilty, this police officer decided to figure out a way to put me in jail, which he did. Since he couldn't find nothing, he didn't find no warrants and no probation on me. He was trying to look for anything, any reason to put me in a jail. And he has every reason to put this man in jail, but he chooses not to. He didn't ask him why he out there at 9 or 10 o'clock at night outside. You should be at home. But he ain't doing that. He out there being bad, going out there and hurting black people and stuff. And then one of these Hispanic police officers cover for him. I don't like that. I don't like any of this. I don't like the circumstance that I just don't like that. They put me in that situation. I really don't. I hate these police officers here in Los Angeles. I hate them bad because they just don't know what they doing to people, make them feel some way. Like what you do is hurting people. I'm thinking about it because what I did that night was just try to get myself some food, and I was just hungry and not even be able to eat my food and enjoy it that night. Instead, I had to eat peanut butter and jelly sandwich at the jail. I don't like it. I don't. And I could be doing something else with my life, but right now, I don't know. My future could change then. I mean, I had a different future then. I don't know what my future would have been if he didn't do what he did, but that's something to always ask yourself. What if that cop had not took you to jail? What would your life have been? I've been back at work. I've been working at UPS. That's one thing I do know. I've been at my job at UPS making money instead of sitting at the county working 12 hours a week, 5 days as a trustee, making $3 a week. And only $3 can only buy 2 candy bars. And that's the thing about it. They had me kidnapped and trapped inside that cell because he want to see me have nothing. I don't like that. So the jail I went to was at Riverside Presley Detention Center, and this is in Riverside. I spent 2 months in there, and then after I got released, I did 4 months of probation just to have all the felony charges dismissed. So it lets you know that I was not guilty. That tells me he put an innocent black man in jail, made him homeless, and put me out there on the streets just like all the other black homeless people out here. While all these Mexicans out here, they get a better life than us black folks, They got housing, they got cars and stuff like that. But because I'm different and they don't like black people, they put us in jail. So I'm gonna feel the same way. The same way he made me, put me in a situation, I'm gonna say this about him. You know, I don't like him. He's a Hispanic police officer. I don't. I have to make my mind and change that. Now I'm not gonna be saying, oh, every Hispanic person is, I'm gonna be my enemy. I'm like, no, I'm only hating people that hurt me. There's good people out there. There's people out there that are willing to help, people that do the right thing in life. But some people, they just bad. They just hateful and jealous. And those people you have to be careful of. They don't have no good intentions in their heart but to hurt. Yeah, so there's so many things in life. I'm trying to hold myself together and, make the best in this world. Because a lot of people don't think that what they see on the streets, that people are going through something. They are going through something. I've been through a lot. And sometimes I ask myself, like, God, I'm glad I'm out of the situation of living on the streets, but when I walk out my door and go to work and I see some black people living on the sidewalk, all I can see is myself. I was in that same position. I was on the streets. I really was. I was sitting on the curb, and I was in a tent out here in Los Angeles. I had to go to Midnight Mission Shelter in downtown LA to get my letter sent so I can get my mail. I went through that. And I don't like that. I went through all that because the police officer was racist, and he didn't want to see a black person have nothing. The one of them police officers asked me, "Are you homeless?" And I'm like, why you didn't ask him that question? How they treat different. They treated they did the investigation horrible. They want to see me not have anything. And when they see somebody doing good or somebody has something, guess what they do? They take it right away from you. Why not take him away? He don't have nothing to lose. Why he there? Where's his car? Nah, but you want to hurt me because you didn't like what you saw. You don't like seeing black men have nothing. That's what it was. If I had his address, I'll definitely come over to his home and take everything away from him, just the way how he took everything away from me. Same way he took my stuff, I want to take his. I want to see eye for eye. I want him to know how it feels to have nothing. Because my thing is this: if you're gonna do something to somebody and you gotta expect it to come back. It's called karma. How would you feel if someone came in your home and took everything away from you? Everything you kept for years and held it to yourself, and now it's all gone. I have memories of my grandma. She had, she's dead. She's no longer alive. I had her pictures in my RV. I don't have that no more. My kids, they birth records, they footprints, all that stuff is gone. That's what makes me really angry, because those things, that sentimental things, I can never get back. And that's why I'm blasting this cop out here. I'm putting his name out there. I'm letting them know that he's a fuck boy. He don't give a fuck about black people. Excuse my French, but that's just how I feel. I mean, if he gets away with that, how many other black men and black people have he did? And if I don't say nothing, how many people that county has been liable for doing what they did, that dirt? I mean, how many black people have they did? I put a complaint in, and still the complaint hasn't been returned, because they're not going to tell on themselves. So since the cop in the county or whoever it is that work for the clerk, they're not going to report it. So I have to just have to go through social media to get my revenge one way or another. I'm going to get mine back. I'm gonna let them know this is who he is. And since they not gonna follow up and have somebody come and put charges on this man that assaulted me, then we're gonna just go ahead and complain about it. I'm gonna complain in a different way. Let the world know that, hey, this guy here, he works for Riverside Police Department. You gotta be careful. He's not a good cop. He's a good cop to his people, but when it comes to helping black people, it's not gonna happen. He's gonna do the opposite. Him and his friends. They knew what to do that night, but they choose to take me and take away everything I love just to satisfy this one guy that assaulted me, trying to protect his feelings, making friendships with people that hurt people. So that's why I'm seeing, they bad police officers. And then the DA and the public defender, they worse than the police officer, because they knew I was innocent, but they still kept me in jail. All they had to do was just say, hey, Your Honor, this black man right here, he's innocent. He was just trying to protect himself. He needs to be released. He's no threat to the community. They didn't do that. But they made me stay there for what? Just to make money? Man, that's a lot of things here in Los Angeles that I want to say. But this is just what I want, a little bit of things that people need to know and be aware of what's happening here. If you're coming to LA, just know that if you're a black person, they're genociding our people. They doing it in a different way, which is, incarceration. So once you go in jail, they hope you go limp up in there. that you can't talk. Because once your mind is gone, like these homeless people out here, all you doing is talking to yourself and having outbursts in the middle of the street and stuff, and angry and eating out of dumpsters and stuff. That's what they want to see. The police department here in California enjoy seeing people suffer. They're the ones that putting people in this situation.